Now, of course, one of the organisations that you may not want to hear from necessarily if you are uncertain about data protection is the Information Commissioner's Office. Actually, I think our ICO is one of the leading data protection regulators and is facing, because of the National Data Strategy, but also because of Brexit and forthcoming trade agreements, a very busy agenda. Our own Information Commissioner currently chairs what's called the Global Privacy Assembly, and that international focus is a very important part of their work, but it's also very much on the minds of the UK government. I think the ICO has got three main tasks before it, as well as all the other day-to-day activity that it engages in. The first, obviously, as we've said, is facilitating adequacy assessment with the EU, and I can see we've got a question on that. We're going to come back to that, I promise. But also supporting businesses if there isn't a deal with the EU. And there's guidance on their website, obviously, about the standard contractual clauses, which obviously they're having to look at again in light of everything that Dan has already covered. I think the second main task for the ICO's office is going to be coming up with the UK's own adequacy assessment as we start to sign trade agreements with other countries around the world, who obviously will have their own data protection regimes. And of course, Parliament is going to have a role in scrutinising those trade agreements, and digital trade and digital services is becoming more important in those agreements. But the final thing, which is heralded by the National Data Strategy, and the reason that I suspect that the EU has slightly held back, as well as the wider politics of the negotiations, is looking at and shaping the UK's future data protection regime. Now, of course, if things were agreed one way or the other, I'd be able to give you, and the panel will be able to give you, more of a sense of what that future UK regime looks like. But of course, the jury is still out. Now, the UK and the National Data Strategy and in the negotiating mandates of the EU has said that we want to obviously maintain high data protection standards, although perhaps sometimes seen as a burden or perhaps a brake on innovation. It's also very important that the public absolutely have trust in what's happening to their personal data. But of course, innovation is important, particularly as we have to help the economy to grow. And so the ICO's office has a sandbox, a regulatory sandbox, which helps facilitate innovation in the use of personal data. And I expect that's something that they're going to want to grow and that the government is going to want to encourage.